Good morning and welcome to our live coverage here on Fox Sports from the Australian Grand Prix here in Melbourne. A lot of confusion and speculation here at the track this morning as to whether or not the Australian Grand Prix will be cancelled.
I've come down to the epicentre where it all happened, Albert Park. Actually, where I'm walking right now would be the middle of the Formula One paddock, and to the left of me, the Formula One garages. It's quiet and serene and quite pleasant right now, but 12 months ago, where I'm standing right now, was the complete opposite. It was chaos, it was confusion, and this is the story of Friday the 13th, 2020.
It was a really strange week to be down there in Melbourne because obviously all the rhetoric that we were hearing on the news was that, COVID-19 was kind of exploding all over the world, and there were, these bubbling whispers of concern in and amongst the Formula One paddock. But as far as, we were concerned on Supercars and certainly for our broadcast, the event organisers pushed on. It was kind of like, well, it's not here in Australia, we're going to just push on and business as usual.
On the Wednesday, a pair of McLaren mechanics were self-isolating due to showing symptoms of this disease that no one here in Australia really knew much about. Supercars hit the track on Thursday for what would be a pair of Armor All qualifying sessions, topped by Shane Van Gisbergen and Jamie Whincup. But later in the day, the news came out that one of the McLaren mechanics had indeed tested positive for coronavirus. Later that night, McLaren pulled out of the event altogether. There were rumours that Kimi Räikkönen and Sebastian Vettel had skipped the country and headed home.
There was obviously a much bigger concern in and around the Formula One paddock that perhaps people had COVID. And that it was going to be a bigger problem, that there were concerns that this whole thing was going to blow up. And then, of course, we turn up on Friday morning, and who could have foreseen that it would have unfolded the way it did?
I woke up in the morning going, I bet you we don't race today. I kind of knew it in the back of my brain. And so I was a little late to our morning pre-brief, so that didn't go down too well.
Fans were queued up outside the gates, wanting to know what was going to be happening. Same with the race teams inside. And come 10 o'clock, Fox Sports was now officially live and wondering what was coming next.
This is an unfolding situation. Good morning to you, Mark Scaife. Neil Crompton. There is a lot of head scratching, a lot of confusion after reports last night that McLaren had officially withdrawn from the Australian Grand Prix. So let's just start firstly with what we know.
It has that same feeling. It's like when someone has a rather large accident and there's that amount of uncertainty is, if that person's okay. Like I've only had a few times in my life where that's happened, and that was like one of those times where there was so much uncertainty that no one really knew what was going on.
By the time we were ready to go live, we knew that people had been stopped at the gates. Fans hadn't come in. I can remember sitting on the desk with Mark Scaife and Neil Crompton just sort of tossing the question around, well, here we are, and no one really knows how this is going to unfold. We just simply have to wait and see what the FIA come back with. And then, of course, the press conference happened and the whole thing was off.
It's amazing how much has happened since that remarkable day. Supercars powered on, first with 10 weeks of E-Series laughs, and then the never-ending road trip that kept the series alive. SVG won Bathurst, Scotty won the championship, and Formula One is set to hopefully return to Albert Park in November. But for now, behind me, pit lane is a drive-through coronavirus testing centre. How fitting.